Okay, can we just be honest here for a minute? Can we just keep it all the way real when it comes to Bleach and Styles and Blood War, especially after these 10 episodes? Episode 10 just dropped a little bit ago, and wow, oh wow, let's keep it real about Bleach and Styles and Blood War, dog. Once again, it outdoes the manga. In fact, so much so that I ain't gonna lie, this episode of the anime, not only did it have me teary-eyed, not only did it have me screaming, holy cow, just in general, it's another reminder of Bleach and Styles and Blood War was worth the wait. A lot of people coming into this bad boy were skeptical. A lot of people were like, is Studio Pierrot really gonna bring that heat when you got studios like Mappa and Ufotable and all of these conglomerates that are bringing you Jujutsu Kaisen, Chainsaw Man, all of these very big freaking titles? Can they do it? Could they? Studio Pierrot did it, dog. Studio Pierrot did it, because episode 10 of Bleach and Styles and Blood War, with the battle of the Kenpachi, Unohana versus Zaraki, alongside Ichigo and Renji continuing on their journey in the Soul Palace to make their way up in order to be able to, come back and give Bach a little bit of a lashing, so to speak. But ultimately, I'm not gonna lie, this episode, wow, oh wow. From jump, it was a very dark episode, because for the majority of the episode, about maybe over half of the episode, was Zaraki versus Unohana, and really getting the depths of this battle and what it really means to the Serete. Because I've seen a lot of people say, well, dog, what's the reason? Why does somebody gotta die? Especially when Kyoraku said that in last week's episode of Bleach. A lot of people were like, but why? Why? And it's kind of like when a volcano meets a tornado. They love each other too much to walk away, though. No. Legitimately, it almost feels like it's a part of the process. It's like a ritual, so to speak, that in order to be truly a Kenpachi, you gotta slay the previous one. There's more to it than that. It's obviously two freaks of nature that are massively strong, because the Kenpachi is basically, from what it seems to be, the strongest in the Serete, and essentially whenever another strong person that's even stronger than them come along, then they become a potential candidate to be the next Kenpachi. So we get a lot of that flashback, which I loved it. I feel like, and don't quote me on this, but I'm almost certain that a lot of the flashbacks and in general this whole part with Zaraki and Unohana was extended. And I might be totally misremembering or forgetting some stuff, but it definitely felt like it was extended and it hit in a major way, because you want to understand the relationship between the two of these, right? Like, these are characters that have been around for a long time. We never really got to get them doing like a lot together. Of course, I believe we've seen them interact or whatnot, but we never really seen this whole side of the argument, even though it's been foreshadowed for a long time, where Unohana covering the scar on her chest and a lot of really weird things about her. Now we're getting the unraveling and seeing her at her prime, which is kind of crazy. I would love to see well, some might argue that, she's still in her prime right now. She's a Kenpachi. She's been the real Kenpachi all along. Even though Zaraki been putting in work throughout the entirety of Bleach, technically Unohana was still kind of the Kenpachi, because Zaraki never took her out. And I ain't gonna lie, seeing the depths of a character like Zaraki, right? Because you could easily play him one way. You could play him that he is a mindless brute with that messed up sword. He's no, you know what I'm saying? You could play that there's not much depth to him. But when you find out the tragic and strange nature of Zaraki Kenpachi, of when he ran into Unohana all those years ago, for starters, Zaraki, you could throw the argument, was stronger than he is right now. Because all the way back then, when he ran into, mind you, this is the first Kenpachi, this is the first of the Court Guard 13 squads and whatnot. Like, this is him, you know what I'm saying? This is Unohana Kenpachi, you know what I'm saying? And Zaraki coming across her, and basically because he was never met with such a challenge, like fighting somebody like Unohana, it showed him something and it awakened something in him of a beast that loves fighting. However, because Zaraki was so broken, even then as a kid, as a little guppy, so to speak, shout out to young Zaraki, I'd love that manga, dog. Give me that spinoff as well. As Zaraki, from the days of him being young and running into Unohana, let me get that spinoff now. But essentially, because he loved fighting so much, and because he seemingly was getting the best of Unohana back in those days, he instinctively locked away a lot of that beast-like power. Essentially, back in the day, Zaraki couldn't get the W over Unohana, but because he realized how weak she was internally, so to speak, like think sensing, he powered himself down. And throughout all of Bleach, you could throw the argument that Zaraki has kind of been like an MC as well, that's been unlocking the barriers that he put in his mind since way back when he first ran into Unohana and had that battle and damn near killed her. So every fight you've seen in Bleach has been little by little him peeling back the layers, and it all goes so perfectly with Zaraki's character, because think about it, the whole complex situation with his Shikai, doesn't even know the name of his Shikai, let alone his Bankai. I forget, I think he learned the name of his Shikai, but then he didn't know his Bankai, something along the lines of that. But again, it all hints at Zaraki having this hazy type of past and this hazy type of, you know, adventure that he's had from the beginning of Bleach till now. This was all undoing what he did in that moment when he fought against Unohana. Now, of course, there's been experience and so much stuff that's happened to Zaraki from that point on, but if this dude was that dude that potentially could have taken out Unohana back then, the same person that helped in the original Thousand Year Blood War, Zaraki probably back then would have slaughtered damn near everybody we've seen throughout the story of Bleach up until now. Because again, Unohana was broken. We even see right now that she's, you know, pulling out her true inner Kenpachi, so to speak. She is a monster that is literally killing Zaraki, fighting him, killing him, and healing him up until he gets to the point of unlocking that ferocity and that overall power that he had when he fought Unohana all those years ago. Like, this is a twisted, dark, very intimate, scary in a weird way, but just in general, a beautiful scene and an amazing episode that, yo, I loved it in the manga. I was fanboying in the manga. I'm fanboying harder with the anime. Again, it was very, very dark. Their setting where they're fighting at it, whatnot, very dark. The art was very dark, but it's fitting. This is extremely freaking dark. Somebody dies at the end of all this. And when we get to that point, as Zaraki is finally starting to come to, and he's understanding, like, dog, I keep blacking out. What the hell is going on? And he actually gets the best of Unohana and starts to bawl out, crying and shit like that. Oh boy, dog, when Unohana's bleeding out right there and Zaraki's like, no, don't die, don't die. It kind of brings me back, and I'm even getting goosebumps talking about it, to moments like, I don't know, Yu Yu Hakusho, when Kuwabara, episode 1, thought that Yusuke was dead for good, and he was crying and shit like that. It gave me that, but even more than that, because this is really long history, dog. This is basically the person that gave him hope that he can enjoy something that he loved so much in his life, and that's fighting. That everybody isn't going to be weaker, that there's stronger people out there. That's damn near the Master Roshi to Zaraki's Goku to a certain degree, because it's like, oh shit, yo, I'm really that guy, huh? And there's so many other people that are even stronger out there than that. Wow. Gave Zaraki a purpose, essentially. And towards the end of their whole situation, with Unohana essentially getting murked and giving everything that she's had, everything she learned and whatnot to Zaraki, it was sad, man. I'm not gonna lie. It felt very strange. If you were a manga reader of this and you read this a decade ago, you might be feeling a little bit like me right now. It almost felt like, wow, I'm closing a chapter in my life, as small as it may be, of, you know, talking about this manga or whatever and talking about this anime, but it feels very strange to finally see this 10 years later come to fruition in terms of being animated. And when you see Unohana there dying and the blood, oh my god, it was just so fucking sad. It was sad, man. Yet again, dog, you call me a broken record if you want to, if you've been following these Bleach reviews over the last couple of months, because it's just been phenomenal. And right there, that in and of itself could have been an entire episode. Just Zaraki and Unohana, the succession of the Kenpachi, all of that stuff was fantastic in and of itself. But then you also have the other side of things, with Ichigo and Renji continuing on their journey in the Soul Palace, this time being with Nimaya Oetsu. And I'm not even gonna lie, they definitely pulled a Killer Bee with Nimaya Oetsu. I remember in the manga I thought he was similar, but not, no. He straight up gave me them Killer Bee vibes, so could do without the stereotypical stuff, especially when they bring in a really dope black character like Nimaya Oetsu, dog. He's the dude that created the Zanpaktou. This motherfucker got Ichigo and Renji hallucinating, thinking that he got a whole bunch of baddies around, and it's just that he got a sword. Dog, yes, I love all of that, okay? Like, right now, Nimaya Oetsu Granted, I'm not a fan per se of them sticking, you know, that Killer Bee-esque character stuff on top of him, but he's still really freaking cool. And I'm not gonna lie, out of all of the Zero Division that we've seen them with so far, probably my favorite, again, from the ones that they've actually visited their place in the palace. So that would be Big Mama, is it Rikido? Kirio? I forget the name, but Big Mama, and of course, the original one, because this being the third one that they went to so far. And this dude, he's pretty freaking cool. I don't know, he just gives me vibes of Killer Bee, but I like him. I don't want to say more than Killer Bee. I've spent way more time with Killer Bee, but I don't know, he just seems kind of badass, and at the same time, everything just feels a little bit like, what the hell is going on? Because Ichigo and Renji basically go off to train with these Asauchis or Asauchis that are basically the core of a Zanpaktou. In order to get your Zanpaktou and, you know, the spirit of it and all that stuff, you got to start with the basics of an Asauchi. But considering the fact that we know with Ichigo's journey, he's not the, you know, typical Soul Reaper. In fact, he's not really even a Soul Reaper, as pointed out by Nimaya Oetsu, because after they go up against all of the Asauchi, Ichigo and Renji's there damn near tired, Ichigo's out on the floor, Nimaya's like, Renji, you passed. You're getting your new Zanpaktou. Ichigo, you failed. Dog, you failed. They didn't want you because you're bootleg. You're not a real. You're not authentic. You're not one of us. And I was like, goddamn. Again, more stuff that it's been so long that I did not remember per se that portion of things. But Nimaya's like, I bet, yo, dog, you ain't get picked. And he sends him off. He even makes it really sad. And oh my god, let's talk about a couple of pieces of music in this one. For starters, some of that jazz and blues that they have for Nimaya Oetsu's soundtrack. Oh my god, so freaking good. I loved it. But then when they play some of those classic Bleach OSTs, the little very humming sound, it almost sounds like, I think that's like when Ichigo usually talks to Zangetsu, that background OST, you know what I'm talking about. When they play that as Nimaya's telling Ichigo, no, you're no good, dog. Can't help us. Go home. Like, yeah, whatever. You gotta get back to your roots. That's what I love, though. When Nimaya's like, you gotta get back to your roots, dog. All around, really, really cool stuff for a training session in a way. It's been interesting, very fast paced. And in terms of training, it's like, goddamn, they were fighting these zombie-looking things, the basically core, so to speak, of Zanpaktou for 3 freaking days. So shout-outs to them after all they've been through, going through that. But yeah, I know based off the manga what's about to happen with Ichigo, but we're just going into even more greatness. We're going into more greatness, people. Bleach style Xenoblade Blood War, my god, from Zaraki and Unohana's battle, and then Ichigo and Renji training up to be able to go and to fight back against Bak. It's been one hell of a show. Oh, I'm sorry. Yuha Baha. We gotta, it's official now, okay? There's no more nothing. It's officially Yuha Baha. But all things considered, again, amazing episode. Curious what you guys think. For starters, what are your thoughts on Unohana versus Zaraki? In particular, the fact that somebody had to die in the Battle of the Kenpachi. Like, did you cry? Did you feel sad? It really is sad that Unohana is like, all of these years, if you really think about it, she's been suppressing that Kenpachi, suppressing all of that. And in a weird way, maybe you could throw that as not even as sad. It's more so a relief that Unohana's like, all of it is gone now. I no longer bear the name Kenpachi. Everything is just, I'm passing it on to you now. It's almost as it's a relief for Unohana to finally be done with this, because you can imagine, like, she has cognizantly the mind of, yo, be good, heal, be a good person, but the instincts, the Kenpachi of what she is what she's probably been in hell all this time, having to heal and suppress all of that stuff when she really want to bug out and fight and hurt people. Shout outs to Unohana. And your thoughts on the second half of the episode with Ichigo and Renji with Nimaya Oetsu. Your thoughts on Nimaya Oetsu as one of the Zero Division captains thus far. Do you like him? Does he remind you of Killer Bee? Are you not kind of okay with, again, they got some stereotypical stuff that I'm like, oh, come on, dog. He's such a cool character, and I like a lot about him. Like, and your overall thoughts and expectations for Bleach's Styles in Blood War. Only a few episodes left, and it's been hitting, dog. I can't even imagine what we're left in store for with the final few episodes. So all I have for this one. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. Subscribe and hit that bell to get more, because Bleach, it's been hitting, lads. Subscribe.